something we're super excited to talk about today is cruise groups. So what is a cruise group? Because it took me a long time to recognize that a cruise group is not about a booking for 10 passengers. I suppose it is. It's more like a cruise group gives travel businesses the power to secure exclusive rates, added perks, guaranteed cabin availability by reserving multiple staterooms on a specific sailing. This means it should mean better pricing, onboard credit or offers, VIP extras that aren't available to the general public or your competitors, creating a compelling reason for customers to book through travel businesses. AI did help me read that, but that is effectively, I think you can always tell when AI is being involved, it does these little spaces. But that was just to kind of reiterate what a cruise group is all about. And what that means in reality is that a cruise group gives, and when we talk about cruise groups, we're talking about cruise groups fed from the cruise line, not those done through our supply tech tools. So not a group that you've manually created to feed through. We're talking about API generated cruise line, API generated group rates. So the benefits of those are they are live connectivity and pricing, so they are real time. All your rates are going to be in a single view. You'll be able to compare standard rates and group rates side by side. I'm going to show you a little recording of that in a minute, and you get a full breakdown, and they are bookable in here. So we did some designs previously. These screenshots are just off a design previously that we did, and I just thought I'd show how we share rate codes right now. So that's just potentially where it could drop in. And then when you come in, you can see here, this is one where it's showing like an onboard credit offer of $75 included in the fare, because that's a specific rate code for an American customer of ours. However, without further ado, I want to show you a couple of examples of this working. So if you just bear with me. So this is the reason we've recorded this is because I can't really show a customer's exclusive rates on a live demo, and TravelTech clearly don't have any. So we've had to just adopt this a little bit. So I've got the developer to record it. So he's going to carry out a search here for Royal Caribbean cruise. I think he's gone for Harmony of the Seas. So he just types Harmony in here, and that little drop down appears, like Amanda showed before. I've not sped anything up here or slowed anything down. So he's chosen a date for the result he's got. He's going to fire that off and get the result back. I'm just going to ready myself on my pause button. So he's going to select the cruise, and that's going to carry on through. So he's waiting now for the rates. So the standard rates are now loading on the page, which is what we're used to, what Amanda has just shown. But you can see now here, I'm just going to pause this. You can see you've got a new groups or green button for groups. Where a cruise line provides us group rates via a separate API or a separate connection, we've got this new group button here. So I'm just going to carry that play in here. So we've got the results coming back. And we've got the usual features within Connect, so you can expand things out and see how many rates we've got. So we can hit a little box like Amanda showed here and make that nice and big. But when we click on that green button there, it's going to make a new call, and it'll see here fetching group rates from the cruise line. And you can see on this one here, now I've got a green color, and these are all the group rates for Royal Caribbean. So you can see there's not many, because quite likely this customer has only got, or this rate, this supplier we're using, or this example, has only probably got one cabin type that's been secured on that rate. So you're not going to get as many coming back. That could be different by cruise line. But you can see once it's done the call, he's just demonstrating. Let me tap that back a little bit. It caches the price. So effectively, you can flick between the two really quickly then at that point. And you can shrink that back down. He's going to go to groups now. And you can see he's going to click on that to get the breakdown, and we identify here that it is a group rate with a little group pill indicator at the top left-hand corner. So you know you're on a group rate, and we should be able to select that group rate and go through. And it'll just at this point say, you've selected a group rate. Would you like to continue with it? Cancel or continue. We debated, we mulled around the wording on this, and I just said, just let's go with something, and customers can tell us if it's right or wrong. Very quickly change this, but this is just what we decided to go with first of all. Royal Caribbean rate codes are ridiculous for groups. I don't know why, but anyway, you guys will be used to that more than me. So when we go through, you can see it's a group rate because it's identified with a green color. And that's our identifier now for group rates. And you can again check the price, and we've still got that little breakdown. And with Royal, you can definitely tell because it's got that extended rate code. And then it should add that to the basket. Okay, it's ready to be booked. So that's the group. I'm just going to show if a group rate isn't available. I'm just going to quickly go through on this one. So we've done another recording here. If we choose, if we modify the passengers, we go to 3 passengers because the group rate might only be available for 2 passengers. Just the example we've used here. So it's updating the rate codes here, and he's just trying to fetch standard. Then he clicks on the groups just to get those back. So there's not many cabins that will support triple or 3 adults in a cabin, because you can tell by the little X's that are coming back. So if I click on the group now, there might be no groups for triple-based cabins, which is what's going to happen here. You get a little message say, unfortunately, we're unable to get the group rate for the selected passenger criteria. So we'll try and service up the best message we can to whatever comes from the supplier, because we know more that, well, as an ex-ISOL user, if I see that there's been a problem, there's a problems occur, please try again message one more time. You know, underneath that, we do know what the error is. So we're starting to surface up those error messages just so you got an idea of what they are. We like validation message really instead of error. But that's what that is. And it'll just tell you there. So I'm just carry on now to the next one. I'm just going to show you Norwegian Cruise Lines working. It's slightly different because Norwegian Cruise Lines return their rates within the same API call. So I'm just going to zip ahead here a little bit. Just going to go through. So we've done the rate call for a Norwegian Cruise Line. Norwegian are renowned for having a little plenty of rate codes coming back. And I think Alina, you might be on the call. I saw your name popping up. So we do take a couple more seconds to load, but we still handle it quite well. And we'll see now the group rate is there. Look, so it's identified with a little green box, and you can use a little drag and drop and move it across in that way. And you'll also see there's a little group identifier on there. So we do clearly define a group rate with a green color, and it'll tell you that you've selected a group rate as well when you choose it. And if you want to continue or carry on through. So that's group rates. We're super excited about that. And again, reach out to us if you want that feature enabling. If you're an ISOL Connect user, you need to have, you know, if you that's Royal Caribbean and Celebrity working. We did get to a point of adding MSC in, but got blocked by their API documentation, and we're not getting responses that we need. So we've put that in back into the backlog for consideration. So if you feel that you want MSC groups, again, the roadmap is there to interact with us, and we'll base it on demand. And Royal Caribbean and Celebrity are also available through our API, and the new updated API documentation will tell you how to do that as well.
What suppliers can we book cruise groups with? Is this
do you know what? I forgot to mention that, didn't I? Oh, sorry, just sorry to cut you off then, Hayley. So what can we book cruise groups? Which suppliers cruise groups? What was the second part?
What suppliers can we book cruise groups with? And is this just for ISOL Connect only?
So you can book, so we already support cruise groups in ISOL Cruise, but we've not done anything to extend that out. What we have done though is validate that the ones that I'm going to mention now on ISOL Connect also work up through the APIs. So we support the Carnival group, which is Cunard, Princess, Seabourn, Holland America. I've not had any P&O groups come through, but we expect that it's the same API, so there should be no reason that doesn't work. Norwegian Cruise Line works because you've just seen that. Royal and Celebrity being the others. We did try to get some Costa examples from people, our customers being people, and we actually reached out to Costa Direct, but we didn't get anything back. So I'm not sure whether they generally offer that service, but if they do, we can stick it in that live roadmap backlog and we can look at that. MSC, we got a little bit blocked as well. But as I say, those cruise lines I've just mentioned are available in ISOL Connect. Primarily, that's what we've worked on in this quarter and up through the API, which is exciting.
Excellent. Thanks, John. Do your cruise group rates come through if the customer's just using the API?
Yeah, they do. So again, anything, yeah, we do. So they come through both ISOL Connect and in the API. And again, we'll update the documentation that, because again, that's not great. We do appreciate that, and the guys are updating that at the moment.
Okay.
Loving all these questions. This is great.
I know. About five minutes or so left, so we'll go through the remaining ones. With cruise groups, if we have a restricted group, for example, an allocation purchase for a specific event, is there a way for consultants, for the users, to be shown that it's not available for general sale?
Ooh. Honest answer is I don't know. It depends how it comes through the cruise line. So if you can give us, Michael, an example of that, reach out to product@traveltech.net. So product@traveltech.net, just drop us a little email with an example of that. We can have a little test and see. Not too sure, to be honest. Depends what the information we get from the line is.
Okay. And when I do share the recording as well, I'll just reconfirm that email address as well, John, to everybody.
Yeah, no, it's cool. Yeah, thank you. Cheers.